Welcome, Elmer Hickman. He's come all the way across the pond to talk about getting wealthy with us here in South Africa. I just want to say a very warm South African welcome. Have you enjoyed your time in South Africa so far?
I have. It's a great city, great state. I love the continent of Africa, so it's been amazing.
Fantastic. Well, he's chosen Joburg over Cape Town, so we like him already. Elmer is a certified health and wellness coach. As far as I understand from our previous conversations, you were a well-regarded sportsman, you were an educator, you've got 3 degrees under your belt, and you are currently considered an elite personal trainer in the city of Miami, venturing forth between Chicago and Miami and also climbing many, many mountains. Tell us now, with this kind of hot CV, I haven't left anything out, have I?
No, ma'am. No, I've had like multiple lives. So my first life was me as an athlete playing football and running track at a pretty high level. Then when I was done, I transitioned to education, where I was a teacher, I was a coach, and I was a principal of schools or headmaster, whatever the guys call it.
I'm fascinated by you being a headmaster going into elite fitness training, but you know, we all jump, we jump. I know I'm a jumper.
No, it was huge. It was huge. It was one thing that I did believe is that I trust myself and I trust my skill set. And one thing about me is that once I put my mind to something, I do it. And I always follow through with my word.
We seem to be on the same path, even in different cities and at different times, a very similar experience as entrepreneurs in the wellness space, how we were seeing our customers, how we were seeing our own health experience. And this episode is specifically around how men get wealthy. We've entitled this episode Boys to Men because what we felt was it really is the journey of how masculinity, strength, hustle, performance, success is being redefined as the holistic wellness trends start to really impact how men see themselves. So I think the first question for you would be, what does getting wealthy mean to you?
Well, wealthy with the 2 L's.
With the 2 L's.
The 2 L's. It's purpose plus peace plus health. And it's a compounding of those things. It's like your money. You're compounding purpose, peace, and wealth, just like your assets. And the thing is, what's the point of having all this money if you can't use it or spend it because you're unhealthy? And what I'm seeing now with my clients and even with myself, we're more so in the pursuit of peace. We're focused on our purpose. We're really focused on aligning and being very intentional in making sure that whatever we do is aligned with our purpose.
Absolutely.
And one thing I've noticed, not just in Miami, but just all over the world, is that men, especially those 40 and up, are now like, oh my gosh, it's time to get back in shape. I want to be healthy. I want to live longer. So what do I need to do? And then that's where I come in and say, okay, let's do A, B, and C.
So are you starting to niche your business now, looking at specifically men's health? Because this is a category or a consumer bracket that I think just not enough people are speaking to.
Right. What my issue was that when I was a principal,
I could see it as a principal.
First of all, this is my in my office. This was how I sit. But I was 260 pounds, 260 in kilos. I don't know what that is, like 113 maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like 113, 114. And I was walking through the halls, and my heart started fluttering, and I had to be rushed to the hospital. And the doctor, who was, now I look back, I'm very, very glad he said what he said. He said, verbatim, look at you.
Wow.
Look like, try to say it, shit.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
Sure.
He was like, you're 260 and your body can't hold it. And he was right. So...
was that the kind of jolt you needed?
That was the first jolt. But then the next day, I went to the track to run a mile. And I tried to run 1 lap, and I couldn't. I couldn't run 1 lap. And then I was infuriated. I was beyond angry at myself for letting it get to that point. And I got obsessed after that. I trained twice a week. I stopped eating everything but chicken, broccoli, and protein shakes. I'm not saying that's what you should eat now, but for me, it was very obsessive. And I lost like 40 pounds in 45 days.
Wow.
But
no, not many people can do that.
You know, they can't, and I would recommend that.
Yeah.
But that was just my journey.
Okay. So that's personal.
Correct. I don't recommend folks doing that because I went off the way 100%.
Yeah.
That's when I learned to fast.
Right.
So I would fast 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
And dropped the weight. And now I'm 212, and I kept it off. But now I coach men how to do it the right way and not my way.
That's quite key because what I'm seeing is everybody's journey is so different. So I find that the prescriptive ways of getting healthy in order to get wealthy are just not working for people. So the holistic approach and the personalized approach, I think that our brand wants to offer in this context now, when we've got all this information at the touch of our fingertips and we still can't get off the couch, right? So what we really want to do is be able to say, you've got to find those trigger points that work for you. I mean, I had my hit rock bottom, Melvin, in December of 2022. And I very much like you, and I'm not saying it's for everyone, but I did this 360 spin and it just took me a few weeks and I just created very specific outcomes that I wanted to live by, habits and networks that kind of held me, ways of living that kind of reinforced what I had started to do, so it became harder to slip off. I'm a bit easier now, I'm a bit more flex now, but there's some core tenets that I still keep to my daily life now, like almost 3 years later. Because what I'm trying to insist with myself is consistency, because you and I can jump off the ledge like typical entrepreneurs, do a full 360-degree, mean, aggressive, cut quick, hard, fast, chop change.
And it works for us.
And it works for us. But for some people, they need something a bit softer, a bit gentler, something that's very mindful. And I think what I wanted to ask you is, like, what types of systems are you seeing that kind of work? Because for me, wealthy needs to talk more about habits and habit building.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have strong habits and systems in place, you just are not going to be able to force that anterior singular cortex part of the brain to do the things you don't necessarily want to do that day.
The number one thing is behavior change. And you have to be ready to do it. Because there's lots of people that say, I want to lose weight or I want to get stronger, but
can you change?
Exactly.
Do you want to change? Can
Exactly.
you change?
And
that's the first trigger. You got to want it.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
You know, and there's folks who want it, but they don't want to do the work because it's not easy. Like even with you and I, we did that 360 change. It was super hard.
Bloody hard.
But because we wanted it,
yes,
we sacrificed the things that we love to get to the end point.
It's a huge amount of sacrifice. And you're fighting your brain because your brain is pushing you back. Neurological science shows you that your brain will push you back to a state of comfort.
Correct.
The previous behavior, the old habit, the old pattern is comfort. So your brain is constantly pushing you back to the old cycle.
Yes.
You have to override your own neural system and create a new neural pathway that says, I am not going to have 6 beers. I'm going to go to the gym and swim 20 laps. Right. So you have to kill the old to entrench the new.
I don't want to wait for people to be pushed over the edge.
Absolutely.
So when I speak to someone, I kind of help them see health differently. So when they come to me and they say, Elmer, I'm going to lose 60 pounds. I say, well, do you want to feel better or lose 60 pounds? They say, oh, I want to feel better. And then they say, you want to be strong? They say, yes, I want to be strong. So let's just change the verbiage. Let's change your mindset. Instead of saying I want to lose 60 pounds, let's say I want to live longer. Yes. Let's say I want to play with my grandkids.
Yes.
Let's say I want to be able to pick up 20 pounds when I'm going to the grocery store.
So you're changing the way the person sees the job ahead. It's not punishment.
Correct.
It's not all pain.
Right.
You just need to be able to frame it in a way that you are motivated enough to want that change.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that frame has to be attached to something that's important to them. You know, like I have a guy now, he's a little bit heavier and he has grandkids. He cannot play with the grandkids because he gets tired and winded. So he says, I want to lose weight. And we chatted. I said, it sounds like when you play with your grandkids. And then you can see the light bulb go off. Then I said to him, so close your eyes and tell me, how does it feel right now to play with your grandkids and you're 30 pounds lighter? And he closed his eyes and he visualized himself playing with the grandkids. And that's what he needed. He needed to trigger him to find.
That's the trigger.
Exactly.
And each person's trigger is individual.
Correct.
What you realize is men are looking for peace.
Yes.
Men are looking for peace. Men want the physicality to be able to play, like you say, with their grandkids. Getting wealthy for men today is starting to shift to the more holistic notions of what this wealthy lifestyle looks like and feels like for him. Because the trophy wife and the big career is not always going to cut it if he's mentally and physically not well.
Right. I don't want to say new age, but the man now, the masculine man now, like I said, is looking for peace. The masculine man now understands empathy. The masculine man now understands what it means to be vulnerable. And it doesn't make you weak. You know, vulnerability, being vulnerable separates the boys from the men. You know, because boys can't communicate out of fear.
Yeah.
And they're scared.
Yeah.
But when you're a man and you're able to talk about things that hurt or that may have hurt you in the past, trauma, now you're being vulnerable. The new masculine, you know, is peace, empathy, being vulnerable, and still being powerful at the same time.
Exactly, because it's those emotional triggers, I think, that start opening this modern man up to the concept of true wealth. It's not sitting in his bank account anymore.
Right.
Suddenly he's realizing that being vulnerable, being empathetic opens himself up to a whole new way of living, and his wealthy journey begins outside of cash. If you look at a typical consumer that I think wealthy would like to attract and that your business is currently attracting, like let's say, for example, it's a middle-aged man. He's living in the city. He's so wired with work and family responsibilities, and he's got a completely dysregulated nervous system. He's typically a bit unhealthy mentally and physically. Now, where does that guy go to start his wealthy journey?
So that's a great question. And it's funny because I was just reading about that and writing this morning in my journal about that specific thing. And what needs to happen is that these men have to be intentional in finding places, you know, for them to go to meet other men who are on the same journey.
Yes.
Now, there's nothing more powerful than a group of men sitting down and unpacking their life, the trauma, you know, and it's even more powerful when it's Black and brown men sitting down unpacking the trauma. And a lot of Black men in general, but, you know, we struggle in silence.
So you're saying the first step for that typical consumer of ours is community.
Community.
Is finding other voices. Yes. Yes. And finding that support.
Correct.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's, I think, where you'll find men who are typically behaving from the departure point of threat. The threat of losing my home keeps me going to work. The threat of losing my family keeps me locked in a cycle of debt.
Right.
The threat of not being able to give my family what we need. In South Africa, we call it black tax, where you have to spend money to keep various family members afloat. You know, there's a lot of action of this kind of guy that is coming from the threat or the fear. And the beginning of the wealthy journey is to learn to act out of a sense of self-love. Like, I'm going to take care of myself first. I'm going to instill a level of discipline and habits that keep me healthy and strong so that I can feed once my cup is full and I'm stronger. I can feed those people who need me.
You got to put the steps in place first in order to attract that community. And what I mean by steps is that you must have a morning routine. You need structure in your life.
You need the structure, the habit system, the system of habits that kick you. Yes.
1,000%. And once you have that system in place, everything else falls into order. The hardest part for people, at least the men who I speak with, it's like the first 2 weeks of the system, because I have them get up early in the morning, do not touch that phone, do not check emails, no text off the screen.
So those are your coaching techniques.
Yes. And just sit with yourself.
Great.
Meditate, visualize, but just sit and be still. Because once you wake up, the brain wants you here, wants you there, wants you everywhere. But just sit and be still.
And movement and food.
1,000%. That's number 2. So sit, be still, and just be in body. Because when you're in body, you realize that you control this body. You tell it to go left and go right. You don't want the body to control you. That's what the brain does.
Yes, that's what the brain does.
That's what the brain does. Yes. And when the brain is controlling you, you want to make bad decisions. You want to make bad choices. So get up.
You have
sit.
to tell your brain.
You have to.
Yes. Because men confuse grit with other side symptoms of their hustle. But the true definition of grit is teaching your body and your brain to do something that it doesn't necessarily want to do in that moment. And when you overcome that wiring in your brain that says, go back to bed, scroll on your phone, you don't need to go to the gym, just go straight. It's overriding and creating the new habit.
Oh, 100%. Even here this morning, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning.
Look at that.
And I'm,
because your body's accustomed to the habit.
Yes. And it said sleep in, but I'm like, it's 4:30. No, let me just get up, read, write.
Use your body.
Yeah. Do some push-ups and just prepare for my day.
Now, there's one thing I want to say finally to wrap us up is that if I can pick up a wealthy man as a woman, I don't know what your triggers are when you can sense a wealthy man walking towards you. For me, there's a level of being in his skin, being grounded, and being incredibly comfortable in his body. There's a level of energy you can receive. Do you find that in your business as you navigate this territory of 40-something-year-old men?
Of course. It's one thing about, I'm going to use the gym as just my reference point. Men discover themselves in the gym. When a man goes through a breakup or, he's hit with trauma, the first thing he does, most men, is go to the gym. I guarantee you his friends are saying, go to the gym. Because in the gym or at the park or at the track, that's where the man finds himself. And the moving the body, being active, going to the gym, that invigorates the man and it realigns his passion and purpose.
Excellent.
And that's why the movement of the body in the gym, out of the gym, but just the moving is so crucial for the man.
So to deliver the final thought on how we see wealthy men in today's modern times, I mean, the one word that we have to absolutely talk about, the big T, the hugely feared, hugely anticipated, hugely desired hormone that is testosterone.
Yeah.
Give us your take on how you see wealthy men building their bodies so that they have healthy levels of testosterone. Because in a lot of guys' brains, it's kind of considered only about libido and performance. But actually, if your testosterone's out of whack, there's erectile dysfunction, there's diabetes, there's obesity, there's big guts, as we call them. It's heart disease, it's depression. So how do you see guys kind of functioning to optimally balance their big T?
Great question, because that's probably the main question that I get with my guys. And, I'll keep it simple. There are a lot of folks out there that do HRT, hormone replacement therapy.
Yes.
And God bless them. If that's what they want to do, that's on them. But with my guys, we focus on heavy lifting. We focus on watching the toxins that we're ingesting.
Great.
No alcohol.
Yes.
We focus on foods like pomegranates that's shown to boost testosterone. Even just mindset on how you think. If you're saying my testosterone is low, you're going to have low testosterone.
Absolutely.
Because we have to realize that the words we speak and the thoughts we think create our 3D reality. But I keep it simple. Elmer, my T is low. Okay, we're going to squat, we're going to lunge, we're going to deadlift, we're going to jump. We're going to take out bread, we're going to take out beer, alcohol. If you smoke, we're going to remove all that stuff and just focus on eating the foods that's going to increase your levels, and doing the movements like lifting heavy, that's going to increase those levels. And, and it actually happens fast. It can come back quickly if they're putting in the work and they want to. And, these guys that, they realize at 40, that's your prime. You're just like hitting stride, because when I was younger, I thought 40 was old, but, super young.
We're right here. Yeah. Some of us are coming in on 50. Well, ending on that high note, that is the ultimate T that wealthy men are looking for. Now we know what the key triggers are to keeping your T levels super, super balanced.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you started with lifting heavy, because even for us as women, we also have testosterone.
Yes.
And we need to balance testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. And the first thing I have to do as a 50-year-old woman is lift heavy. Yeah. So cheers. Thank you so much for coming, and cheers to lifting heavy.
God bless.
Get wealthy.
Yes.